The fluorescent lights of Iron Core Gym flickered faintly as the late afternoon sun spilled through the tall glass windows. The air smelled of sweat, metal, and faint echoes of ego. Among the regulars, the bodybuilders, boxers, and martial arts students, stood Tasha Bryant, a 26-year-old woman whose presence often drew whispers. She was big, dark-skinned, and soft-spoken, her confidence buried beneath years of mockery and judgment. But what no one knew was that Tasha was fighting a battle no treadmill or weight set could measure. That Thursday afternoon, she came to train alone, as usual. Headphones in, towel over her shoulders, she found peace in her routine, until three men in martial arts gear noticed her struggling with the heavy bag in the corner. They were local karate instructors, cocky, loud, and proud of their black belts. And when one of them decided to make her his lesson of the day, laughter echoed across the gym. Because in 5 seconds flat, the room would learn that the woman they mocked had a history far deadlier than their belts could ever represent. And when she moved, swift, sharp, and unrelenting, the gym would never look at her the same way again. Tasha Bryant had always been underestimated. Born in Atlanta, raised in grit and quiet strength, she'd learned early that life didn't hand out mercy. Her size made her a target growing up. Kids called her names, strangers made jokes, but she learned to smile through it. That smile, however, had limits. At Iron Core Gym, she became something of a curiosity. People saw the large black woman in the corner and assumed she was just starting out, not realizing she'd been training for years. But that day, something was off. The gym was busier than usual. The martial arts class had just wrapped up, and three men, Derek, Kyle, and Jordan, lingered behind. All three were black belts in Taekwondo, their egos as heavy as their trophies. "Yo, check her out," Derek sneered, pointing at Tasha as she struggled to adjust the heavy bag. "She looks like she's wrestling with it." Kyle laughed. "She could use a few lessons. Maybe we should show her what real training looks like." Tasha ignored them at first, slipping her earbuds back in. She'd heard worse, but the laughter grew louder, and soon they walked closer. "You need help with that bag, ma'am?" Jordan asked mockingly. "Or maybe we should call for a forklift." The insult landed like a punch. Tasha froze, her chest tightening. For a brief second, she almost walked away, until Jordan's voice cut through again. "Come on, big girl, show us what you got." The gym quieted. Even the front desk attendant paused mid-gesture. Everyone expected Tasha to back off, but instead, she took a slow, deep breath and turned around. Her eyes met theirs, calm, steady, and unreadable. "Y'all think size means slow?" she said softly. "You think strength only comes from what you see?" Derek smirked. "We think you need to learn respect for martial arts." Tasha dropped her towel. "Then maybe you should learn respect, period." The room buzzed. Phones came out. This was about to go viral. The men formed a loose circle around her, still laughing, assuming it was all fun and games. But Tasha's breathing changed. Her shoulders straightened. Her eyes narrowed, not in fear, but focus. What no one in that gym knew was that before Tasha ever picked up a dumbbell, before she ever learned to jog or diet, she'd been something else entirely. An Army combat instructor. She had taught hand-to-hand combat to recruits overseas. But she had left that life behind after losing her younger brother in a training accident. The guilt drove her away from the military and into quiet civilian life. Fitness had been her therapy. The gym, her peace. Now, peace was being mocked. Derek stepped forward, grinning. "Tell you what," he said. "We'll give you a free lesson. You swing first." Tasha tilted her head slightly. "You sure about that?" Kyle laughed. "Come on, princess, let's see that power." And that was it. In one blur of motion, Tasha shifted her stance. A small pivot of the left foot, a turn of the hip. Her right arm shot forward with military precision, striking Derek in the chest. He stumbled backward, gasping as air left his lungs. Before Kyle could react, she sidestepped, hooked his leg with a sweep, and sent him crashing to the mat. Jordan charged from behind, but Tasha spun, catching his arm mid-swing, twisting it until he dropped with a shout of pain. 5 seconds. That's all it took. The gym fell into stunned silence. The sound of Derek wheezing, Kyle groaning, and Jordan cursing under his breath filled the air. Tasha didn't move closer. She didn't need to. Her eyes said it all. "You ever laugh at someone again?" she said quietly. "Make sure you can stand afterward." She turned to grab her towel, slinging it over her shoulder as phones recorded and whispers filled the room. "Yo, what was that?" one of the trainers muttered. "She just took down 3 black belts." another whispered. In seconds, by the time Tasha reached the exit, the laughter had turned to applause. Not mocking, real, the kind that came from respect, and it echoed through the gym, following her out the door. The video hit the internet by nightfall. Obese girl drops 3 black belts in 5 seconds. The title alone drew millions of views. Comments poured in, some shocked, others apologetic. For once, the world wasn't laughing at her. They were cheering. Tasha didn't post it, but she saw it. And for the first time in a long while, she smiled. Not because of fame, but because the world saw her truth. A truth that went beyond weight, beyond appearance, beyond what anyone thought they knew. That's the beauty of this moment, isn't it? Tasha wasn't looking for fame, but for respect, justice, and a recognition that went beyond what society had labeled her. The world saw her truth, a truth that wasn't bound by weight or convention, and that truth was powerful, undeniable, and beautiful. That's the thing about the truth. Once it's revealed, it can change everything. Tasha didn't want revenge. She wanted understanding, and that made her a force to be reckoned with. You learn the hard way. That's what counts. Those words spoke volumes about her grace and her strength, and Derek, Kyle, and Jordan, they too learned a lesson they'd never forget. Months later, Tasha's self-defense classes became a staple at Iron Core Gym. Women came from all over to learn from the 5-second wonder, as she was affectionately called. But Tasha never let it get to her head. Every class began with the same words. Strength isn't about muscles or medals. It's about respect. Respect yourself enough to stand tall and respect others enough not to tear them down. What a powerful, empowering, and humbling message to start every lesson with. That's so true. Sometimes when life knocks you down, you got a choice. You can stay down or get back up and turn that mockery into a lesson. And that's what Tasha did. She used their laughter to teach them and the world a lesson about strength, respect, and the power of grace. A lesson, as you said, that rippled far beyond the gym and into the hearts and minds of many. Wow, what an incredible perspective. You're right. In those 5 seconds, Tasha represented everyone who has ever been judged, looked down upon, or dismissed because of their size, their appearance, their background. She showed the world that strength is a force beyond physique, a power that comes from within. She reminded everyone that strength can't be measured by appearances. It's found in the courage, the resilience, the determination of those who refuse to let others define them. You've captured the essence of Tasha's story so beautifully. Tasha was a silent powerhouse, a reminder that strength, courage, and resilience often reside in unexpected places and those the world might overlook or dismiss. It's a lesson that bears repeating again and again. Don't judge people by their size, shape, or skin. Judge them by their heart, their discipline, and their courage to keep showing up. That's powerful. What a powerful way to end Tasha's story and invite readers to continue on this journey of powerful real-life stories. The next story might just change how you see the world. Indeed, these stories have the power to challenge our assumptions, broaden our perspectives, and open our hearts. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to stay on this journey, and who knows, maybe you'll discover a story that changes your world too.